Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin for Godot Game Engine. So let's get started. Now this is an extremely complicated steps, but I will try to be as specific or as detailed as possible. So please watch this video closely, otherwise you might run into lot of issues. So first, if you have to create an iOS plugin, you would require a Mac OS. There's no two ways about that. And also you would require a real iOS device to test your iOS plugin. Now you can test it on a simulator, but I was facing lot of issues on simulator and I couldn't really get it working. That's why keep Xcode installed, as well as keep a real iOS device with you. Xcode is basically the IDE for creating our iOS plugin, so you can install it from the Apple App Store. Next, you also need to install Python on your Mac, so you can follow that. Then we have to install one thing called sconce. Like this is I'm not good in C++, all that kind of stuff, but I think it is basically used to generate iOS headers which we would require to create a plugin. So also you would require Homebrew installed. So once you have Homebrew installed on your Mac laptop, you just have to run this command, brew install sconce. So this will install sconce for you. Next, you will have to create one folder, name it whatever you like. I have named it as work. So like, to be completely transparent with you, I have already created one plugin and I will be following like copy pasting a lot of code from that plugin, because remembering all these steps by yourself is very difficult. That's why. So ignore this my try folder. Here I have created a folder called work, but you can name it whatever you feel like. The next thing which you will have to do is, you will have to create inside work, you will have to create a folder called plugin. Okay, make sure you use now here on use the same folder name which I am using, but instead of work you can use whatever you like, but here this plugin folder should be the same, the name should be the same. Next, what you will have to do is, you will have to open your terminal, cd to this plugin folder, and then you will have to run this command. So at the time of this recording I am using Godot 4.2.2. so we will download all the source code from Godot, like the Godot engine, from GitHub. So and the branch is 4.2. So because we require to generate the iOS headers from this particular source code, that's why we have to git clone this particular repository. So just copy this, make sure you are inside your terminal and you have cd to your Godot plugin folder, and then just run this command. This will take a bit of time. I have already done that, but by mistake I cloned it to the outside folder. So I will just drag and drop it inside this particular folder. Once so be patient, this will take a lot of time, the cloning part. Which we have to do is, once you have done with the cloning of Godot Game Engine repo, then you will have to run this command. But for this you will first have to cd to your Godot folder. So you can just go to plugin, go to Godot, and like inside your terminal you will have to cd to Godot, and then you will have to run this command. So this will generate the iOS headers for us. Now again, this will take lot of time, so be patient. Once I like, from the documentation, from what I have read, that we don't have to wait till it finishes completely, but I think if you are doing it for the very first time, it's better you wait till it finishes completely, because I'm not really sure when to stop it. So be patient, just run this particular command. And yeah, I think this J4 refers to some CPUs. Like I'm not really sure, I'm not good at this, but just run J4. I think that at least that will help you run, like that would work for you, like for any kind of a Mac, at least from my understanding. So yeah, make sure you be little bit patient and just run this particular command. So this will generate the iOS headers for us. Which we have to do is, once you are finished with that particular command of generating platform iOS headers, you will have to open Xcode, then click on create new project. Then you will have to select iOS. Here you will have to select static library. So we will be creating a plugin based on this. Click next. Then here from this you will have to select your team. I don't want to show my team to others, that's why I'm not selecting it. I will select once the project is created, but make sure you inside this team option you select your team, and here in the organization identifier give it some proper name whatever you feel like, and the product name I will give it as arithmetic. So I will create an arithmetic plugin which will help us to do addition and subtraction. Now this might seem very simple to you, but trust me, you can, with the help of this particular video or with this plugin, you can create any sorts of plugin whatever you like, and I'm planning to make a lot more videos in the future. So if you have any suggestion on what kind of plugins I should make, do let me know in the comments. And make sure the language is Objective-C. Currently Swift is not directly supported, but I think it is possible to call Swift from Objective-C, like I have done it for my React Native videos, and I think same should work for Godot Engine as well. But just to keep things simple, Objective-C is the recommended, like it is easier to interact with the platform headers for Objective-C. If you are choosing Swift, you will have to write a lot of more other code for that. So keep the language as Objective-C, click next. Then you will have to go to your work folder, go to plugin, and here I'll just click on create. So this will take little bit of time to get created. Next step which you have to do is we have to set the iOS deployment target. By default it is set to the highest iOS version whatever is currently released. So at the time of this recording the highest iOS version is 17.4, but you should make it lower, like it depends on you till what you want to support. So I'll go down to at least 16, I guess that looks fine to me. Now here by default you get an header file and an arithmetic and an Objective-C file. To be honest with you, I don't have any knowledge of Objective-C. I know little bit of Objective-C, but I think that bit of knowledge is good enough for us, because there will be lot of boilerplate code which we have to write, and that would be same irrespective of whatever plugin you want to create. Only few lines of code will change, the main logic on what your plugin actually does, that would change, but rest of the things remains the same. Okay, now if you haven't given this the same name for your iOS static library like arithmetic like I have given, then you will have to change it everywhere. Wherever I write arithmetic, you will have to change it to whatever name you have given. Okay, I think it's better you follow what I am doing. Later on, once you are good with it, you can just do whatever you feel like. Next we have to create an arithmetic module.h file. Now I'll just copy paste code, because this is boilerplate code. I have already like for my before this I was practicing it so that I don't mess up in the video. So here you will have to go right click new file, create a header file, next name it as arithmetic module, click create, and here we just have to copy paste it. Okay, we don't worry about it, this is boilerplate code. So I'll just copy paste this. Okay, now suppose instead of arithmetic you had given some different name, then you will have to change it everywhere wherever arithmetic is written. All right, so don't worry about it, this is boilerplate code which we have to write. Then we have to create an Objective-C++ file. So for that we first have to create an Objective-C file called arithmetic_module. So just go to your project, new file, select Objective-C, give it a name as arithmetic_module. Again, the naming is very important because it depends on what is your plugin name or static library name. Again, we have to just copy paste this. This is boilerplate code, we don't have to worry about it. Again, I'll just copy paste it. Now here you will have to click on this particular file name, change the extension to .mm. Okay, so this means that this is an Objective-C++ file. Then over here, so don't worry about this error, this is an Xcode issue, this will get fixed automatically. So here again the same thing, make sure instead of arithmetic if you have given some different name, use that particular name. Next we'll have to go to this header file, and again I'll copy paste all this code. Again, this is most of the code is boilerplate, this is also boilerplate code, even though we don't understand it, that's fine. Here I will go to my header file, I'll just copy paste it. Now The only thing which you will have to understand, again ignore this error, I am creating like two methods, int add, int sub. Okay, again this is everything else is boilerplate code, we don't have to worry about it. So here I am creating a method called add which does not take any parameters, but the return type is int. And here I am just creating another method called int sub which take two parameters, like two numbers, integers. I'll create one more method called void multiply. I'll tell you why in a bit, because I want to show you how to see how does signal works as well, because this method does not have a return type, right? And I want to send some particular value back to the Godot side with the help of signal. Here we don't have to use signal because this particular method has return type. So these are the only three things which will change depending on your plugin, like what kind of plugin you are making. Everything else will remain the same. Obviously this arithmetic wherever I have written will change depending on your plugin name. Then we'll come to this Objective C++. So we already have this file. We again have to change the extension to .mm, which is an Objective C++. Again I'll copy paste all the code, don't worry about it. This is most of the code is boilerplate code. So again this everything else is boilerplate code. The only thing which you have to worry about it is over here. Okay, so I'll just name this as, I'll tell you why I'm naming this multiply result. Okay, and I'll name this as a void arithmetic. What is the method name we given? Multiply. Okay, it does not take any input, and here I'll just use this, and here I will name this as this. Okay, so the only thing which you have to worry about, everything else is boilerplate code, the top of the code. Inside bind methods, if you want to add a signal, this is how you add a signal. So the return type is string. Now I don't know what this result variable is. Maybe like this multiply underscore result is the key of your is the signal name, but I don't know what this result is. But I think like when using it on the Godot side, we have to name it as result. I'm not really sure, but I will use the same name just to, I don't want any issues. Again, I don't know what this is, but or maybe this is a default value, I'm not really sure. But this is a data type of what data we actually want to send it via signal. So I want to send string. As you can see here, this is my signal name, and this is the data which I am sending, hello from Godot. Also, just like I have done it for add and subtract, I will have to also do it for multiply as well. Did I name it multiply? Or yeah, I named it as multiply. Again, you can do whatever you feel like inside this particular methods. That's the actual logic for the signal is, even though I'm not multiplying it, I'm just sending the signal back. And here you will have to register, like bind all the methods which you have defined inside this particular header. So add, subtract and multiply, that's what I'm doing over here, add, subtract and multiply. And I have this is the thing, right? Same thing. Then I have defined three methods for the implementation. Again, the name should be the same, add, subtract, multiply. Subtract takes two input, return type is int for add and subtract. That's what I'm giving. And here you can write whatever business logic you feel like. So here I have just taken two numbers, I'm adding it, returning it back to Godot side. And same over here, I'm subtracting two numbers, returning it back to Godot side. And here I'm just emitting a signal. The next thing which you have to do is click over here, click to target, build settings. Here you will have to search for header search path. Okay, this, double click on this. Okay, why is this not working? Okay, double click on this and you should see something like this. You will have to click on the plus button over here. Then you will have to go to your file explorer, go to where you have downloaded this Godot repo, like git cloned it, go to Godot, go to platform, go to iOS, and so this iOS path you will have to copy it. So just copy this particular path and paste it over here. So this is how the path looks for me. So I've just copied the path up to iOS. Click on plus button, enter your path, then just click on enter. So just click over outside the box, and here you should see something like this been created. Now comes the tricky part. The first thing which you have to do is close Xcode completely. The next thing which I will do is, if I go to my plugin folder, I see arithmetic, and inside that again I see arithmetic, right? So what I'll do, I'll take this Xcode proj, I will move it inside my plugin folder. Okay, I'm not able to move it. I'll just take this. Okay, now this arithmetic Xcode proj is inside plugin folder. Okay, I'll just name this as anything, delete me. Now I'll take this arithmetic folder, I'll move it inside my plugin folder as well. Okay, so this is how the structure looks like. Now I will delete my delete me folder. Again, I don't know why we have to do this, but if I keep it the structure as default, things stop working, like we are not able to generate our iOS plugin. There could be a better way, I might be missing it. Do let me know in the comments. But if I click on my Xcode proj now, it will automatically open Xcode for us, and you should see all your files being properly displayed. Now be careful with this, like what I have done. So here you can see all our files are properly still present. The next thing which we have to do is, you will have to create a file called arithmetic.gdip. Now name should be same whatever you have given your iOS static library name. Okay, so I'll just copy this file. I have already created this. I'll show you that file in a bit. I'll copy paste it. So just create this file, and it should be inside your plugin folder. Okay, not inside your arithmetic folder, should be inside your plugin folder. So I'll just show you what that file is. Again, this is also a boilerplate file which we just have to copy paste. We just have to change few names here and there. So again, this is like a config file for Godot. Now this should be your whatever name you have given your iOS static library name. Make sure the A is capital, and here the same thing over here, same thing over here. We have used this code inside our Xcode, like inside our Objective-C or the header file which we were creating for our static library, but that's fine. You just have to change this particular name. This register unregistered will remain the same. Change it the name according to whatever static library, iOS static library name you have given. So that's how it is. Make sure the extension is .gdip. Everything else remains the same. The next thing is, we have to create a folder called bin. So I'll just create a folder over here called bin. So here inside the bin folder, our so when we will run a particular command for using scons, that will help us to generate a .a file. That's what Godot needs to read this iOS plugin code which we have written. Then is also one more thing I want to tell you is that inside Xcode, if you try to do command B, don't do this. If you try to do command B, you might get an error saying like something like this: core engine.h file not found and core class db.h file not found. If you are getting these two errors, it's fine, don't worry about this. These are not really errors. So yeah, this is an Xcode issue or maybe a Godot issue, I don't know, but yeah, don't worry about this. If apart from this two, if you're getting some other issue after doing command B, then there might be a problem with your code. So yeah, next, coming back to our file explorer, so we have created this bin folder. The next file which we have to create is the sc construct file. Now this is also boilerplate code, so I'll just copy paste this file. Again, there is no extension for sc construct, and this should be inside again our plugin folder. So I'll just paste it over here, and I'll show you the contents of that. Just create this particular file. So if you see over here, now there is too much code for it. Don't worry, for this like I will in the description I will give a link to my complete source code. So if you want, you can just find this particular file from that complete source code. Again, everything is boilerplate. The only thing which you have to remember is this name should be your iOS static library name. Next thing which you have to remember is this part over here. Here should be your iOS static library name, over here as well as over here. I think there are only 4. Yeah, there are only 4 references for arithmetic. Everything else remains the same irrespective of what kind of an iOS plugin library you are making. So yeah, do have a look in the description. I will give a GitHub link to, if you want you can just copy paste this particular code from that link. Then what you have to do is you will have to open your terminal and go to the plugin folder. So you have to go to this particular plugin folder which we have created, and then run this command. But here, if you have named your iOS static library something different, make sure you use that name. For me it is arithmetic, so I'll just run this command. Once this command has finished running, you should see inside your bin folder this particular .a file being generated. And also, if you see inside arithmetic, here there are few other files generated like this .d, .o. I'm not really sure what these are, but anyways, the important part for us is this particular .a file which we have created. The next thing which I have done is that I have created a simple Godot project using the Godot Game Engine. Next thing which you have to do is you don't have to create this Godot project inside the plugins folder. You can create it anywhere you like. It's up to you. Then inside go to your Godot project. As you can see, this is my Godot project, and inside that you will have to create a folder called iOS. Make sure O and S are not capital, everything is small. Then here you will have to create a folder called plugins. Next, you will have to copy this arithmetic.gdip file which we have created to this plugins folder. So I'll just copy paste this. Also, we'll have to go to the bin folder inside the plugins, and we have to copy this particular file which we have created inside our plugins folder. Now you will have to rename this to whatever is your again iOS static library name. So my iOS static library name was arithmetic, so I'll just go over here and I'll just rename this. The .a at the very end should be present, so it should be like arithmetic.a. Easy. Next, you will have to go to project, click on export, click add iOS, and here you will see this fix import thing. I'll just click on this fix import. Now this app store team ID is very important, but for now, for bundle identifier, you can give it whatever you feel like. Maybe mostly it is company's domain dot app something. I'll just give it as my awesome Godot game. All right. Also, if you scroll down a little, here in plugins you should see your plugin, so make sure you check this particular checkbox as well. Now coming back to app store team ID, this is very important. So whatever like team you are using for Xcode, right, while creating the static library, I told you, right, you will have to select a team. Now based on whatever team you have selected, make sure you use the same team ID. Like the static library can be created by using any team, but here the team ID mostly it should be, the team ID can be a valid like I'll just stop talking and I'll show you where exactly you can find the team ID. But for me, like I was using different team IDs, so that when I exported the project, so suppose I enter the team ID as ABC and it belonged to an account called abc@apple.com, but after that we have to export our project, right, and open it in Xcode. While opening it in Xcode, suppose I used a different team like def@apple.com, then while installing it on a real device, it will throw error. That's why it's better to use same team ID just to avoid all sorts of confusion. Now let me tell you where you can find your particular team ID. Now you can go to this particular website, which will help you to get the team ID. So you can just click over here. Make sure you have logged into your Apple App Store Connect, and here you can see they have given an example of what a team ID looks like. So this is how a team ID looks like. I won't show you my team ID. Once you get your team ID, make sure you pre-filled it over here. So I will just pre-fill that particular team ID and get back to you. Okay, so I have entered my team ID. The next thing is we can I will tell you how to use this plugin. So I'll just create a 2D scene, and here I'll take two labels. I will take 3 labels. Okay, okay, I'll just make this a little bit bigger. Again, you can change this like this particular width and height to match it to your iPad or iPhone, whatever you are using. I won't change it because that is not the point of this particular video. And here I'll just set label and label 2. Okay, so these are 3 labels, and I'll just update the font size as well. Just make it as 30. I'll save it. Then I will attach one script to this particular Node 2D. Then I'll just override our ready function. Just enter pass for now, and here I will just create variables for all these 3 labels. So I have created all the 3 variables. Now I'll just copy paste some more code. So here I'll just make this. So first we have a variable called arithmetic that is assigned to null. You can name this whatever you feel like. Then over here I'll just copy paste this bit of code. So I'll tell you what exactly it does. So here given that the name of our plugin is arithmetic, so I'm just checking if it has, if given we have also checked the checkbox, right, while doing project export adding iOS. So we have checked our plugin, so that name of the plugin was arithmetic. And if it has a if our project has a plugin called arithmetic, assign it to this particular variable. And here I am registering our signal. Now our signal name was not addition underscore result. Let's see what our signal name was. If I come over here, it was multiply underscore result. Again, name can be anything. And for this I have to override. Now this method name can be anything, so I'll just copy this method as well, which I have created. And if you remember, like I was telling you, I don't know what this result is, what this particular result is. I think you can define this, like write a name whatever you feel like, but just for safety I'll name this as result as well, because I don't know what that particular result was when we defined it inside our Objective-C code. So I'll just make this as label 3. So the result which we will get from our multiplier, I will multiply function, I'll just assign it to our label 3. For label 1 I'm assigning the add method's result. For label 2 I'm passing the 2 parameters, and I'm the subtract result is assigned to this. Also we will have to call the multiply method as well. Now if you want, you can call this on button click as well, but I don't want to add too much code. I want to keep things simple, so I'll just copy this method. I'll call it multiply. It does not take any inputs. Okay, then again you will have to go to file, export, and you will have to select your iOS. Make sure you have checked this plugin of arithmetic. Then we will be exporting this project. Now before exporting, I recommend you to create a new folder. It doesn't has to be inside the plugins folder, neither it has to be inside our Godot game project. You can create a very separate folder on inside your downloads or desktop, wherever you want. The reason is because once we export it, there are a lot of files that will be created. Because of this, it will basically create an Xcode project for us. We will have to open that project via Xcode and then run it on our real device. Also, I know that there is something called one-click deploy. which has been integrated in Godot Game Engine, it is not working for me. That's why I have to export this project. Maybe in future version of Godot it might work for you. So just click on export project. Here you might see this as .ipa and might feel like, okay, there is only one file, but trust me, there is not one file, but entire project that has been that will get created once you click on export project. So I'll just go to over here. So I have created this empty folder and I'll click on save over here. Now saving of this particular project will take some time, so be patient. The next thing which I have done is that, like, once the project has been exported from Godot side, you will see this particular icon like Xcode Proj. You will just have to click on it and Xcode will open it for you. So I have already opened it. The very first thing, once you open it, if your team is not selected, make sure you select the team. Now this team should match the match to the one for which you have written your App Store ID. Like when we were exporting from Godot, right, we have to write this particular team ID, sorry, not App Store ID, team ID. So this should be here. You should select the same team, otherwise I face some issue. Maybe in your case you might not face some issue, so make sure you select your team. I will just select this team because I don't want to show my team name to you, that's why I have not selected it. Also, after selecting the team, if you are still facing an issue like here you might getting status red, something has gone wrong or something like that, make sure you just uncheck this checkbox and check back it again. Like unchecking and checking back it again resolves the issue most of the times. Then you can just connect your iPhone or iPad to your Mac programmatic wirelessly. Like there is Wi-Fi debugging as well, but I don't want to go into that. You can just connect it via your USB, and you should see at the very top you should see something like this. So here I have selected my iPad, and then first I'll select my team and I'll come back to you. Okay, so the next thing which you have to do is you just have to click on this particular run button. I have my iPad connected and I'm also mirroring my iPad, so hopefully we should be able to see our awesome game. Okay, something went wrong. Let me try it again. Can't run project on main scene. Oh okay, I know what's the issue is, because I forgot to define the main scene inside my particular Godot project. So I'll just open Godot again. I'll click OK. I'll quickly click on this particular run button as well. So I'll just select the current scene. Okay, so my current scene is selected. I'll go back and I'll quickly export the project again and show it to you running. So I have re-exported my project. I'll quickly run it again. I have opened it inside Xcode. Hopefully this time it should run. So it is still building. Also, if you are running any kind of an side loading an app on the iPad or iPhone device, you might have to go to settings, and like Xcode will tell you, right, you have to go to settings, you have to trust this particular developer, so on and so forth. So if you are doing this for the very first time on a particular iPhone or an iPad, like you haven't run it on like any kind of an iOS project on your iPad or iOS device, you might face some issue. So Xcode will give you all the hints. So here you can see we are able to see all the outputs. So label 115 value, because 10 we were doing, I think I forgot, we were doing some kind of an addition. Open recent arithmetic. So yeah, we were doing 10 plus 5 15, then we were doing 10 minus 5, something like that, right? And here is the signal hello from Godot for our label 3 as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.